Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that made me question everything about family and money. Story 1. I won £4 million and my parents demanded half of it. So I just won £4 million in the lottery at 19 years old, and my parents are calling me selfish for not giving them half. Let me explain this mess. I bought the ticket with my own money that I earned from my part-time job, so it's not like they contributed anything to this win. But here's where it gets complicated. When I told them about winning, they were obviously excited at first. Then they sat me down for this serious conversation where they basically said I owe them half the money because they raised me and supported me my whole life. Their argument was that without them, I wouldn't exist to buy the ticket in the first place. I mean, technically true, but also kind of a weird way to look at it, right? I was actually planning to be really generous with them. I wanted to give them £750,000 as a thank you for everything they'd done for me. That's still a life-changing amount of money. But when I mentioned that as my offer, they completely lost it. They started calling me ungrateful and selfish, saying I was being stingy with people who sacrificed everything for me. My dad even brought up all the money they spent on my education and activities growing up, like I should be paying them back with interest. The thing is, I've already put most of the money into index funds because I want to be smart about this. I know how easy it is for lottery winners to blow through everything and end up broke. I'm trying to set myself up for life here, not just throw money around. My parents keep pressuring me, and now other family members are getting involved. My aunt called me yesterday saying I should at least give them $1 million because family comes first. But here's what bothers me most about this whole situation. They're not asking me to help with specific things like paying off their mortgage or covering medical bills. They literally just want half of my winnings because they think they deserve it. And honestly, their reaction to my generous offer makes me want to give them even less. If they'd been grateful for the $750,000, maybe we could have talked about more help in the future. But demanding £2 million just because they're my parents? That feels really entitled to me. I love my parents, but this whole thing is making me see a side of them I don't really like. The money hasn't changed me, but it's definitely changed how they're treating me. Am I really being selfish here, or are they being unreasonable about what they think they deserve? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. I've been hiding my pregnancy for 7 months from toxic in-laws. So I accidentally revealed my 7-month pregnancy at my 17-year-old niece's emergency delivery, and now my husband's family is absolutely furious with me. Let me give you some context here. My husband and I actively avoid his side of the family because they're honestly just toxic people. We see them as little as possible, maybe once or twice a year if we absolutely have to. So when I got pregnant, we made the decision to keep it completely secret from them. I've been hiding this pregnancy for 7 whole months, which honestly wasn't that hard since we barely see them anyway. But a few days ago, my niece had to have an emergency C-section. She's only 17 years old, so obviously we were really concerned and rushed to the hospital to be there for her. When we walked into that hospital room, most of my in-laws were already there, and you could have heard a pin drop. There I was, clearly 7 months pregnant, and everyone was just staring. The shock on their faces quickly turned to anger, and they started demanding to know why we'd kept this huge secret from the family. A few of them were actually yelling at us right there in the hospital, which was completely inappropriate given that we were supposed to be focused on my niece and her baby. They kept saying we were selfish and cruel for hiding something so important, and that we'd robbed them of the chance to be excited about the pregnancy and help prepare for the baby. But here's the thing they don't seem to understand. We avoided telling them precisely because we knew they'd make everything about themselves and create drama. And look what happened the second they found out. Instead of focusing on the new baby that had just been born, they immediately made it all about their hurt feelings and how wrong they felt. My mother-in-law was particularly upset, saying she had a right to know about her future grandchild and that we'd stolen months of joy from her. But honestly, based on how they've treated us in the past, we knew that telling them would just mean months of unwanted advice, criticism about our choices, and them trying to take over our pregnancy experience. They have a history of boundary stomping and making everything about their own needs and feelings. We wanted to have a peaceful pregnancy without their interference and drama. Now they're saying we're terrible people who don't care about family, but I think we were just protecting ourselves and our growing family from their toxic behavior. The timing of finding out was unfortunate, sure, but I don't regret keeping it from them for as long as we did. Were we really wrong to want some peace during our pregnancy, or should family always come first regardless of how they treat you? Story 3. My roommate gave away my parking permit and I'm furious. So my roommate gave my parking permit to her friend without asking me, and now I'm the bad guy for demanding it back. This is honestly driving me crazy. I live in an apartment complex where parking is seriously strict. Each apartment gets exactly 2 permits, one for me and one for my roommate. If you don't have a permit displayed in your car, you will get towed. This isn't just an empty threat either, cars get towed from here regularly and it costs hundreds of dollars to get them back. I usually keep my permit in this little tray by our front door because I sometimes have to switch it between my personal car and my work rental car. It's just more convenient that way, and my roommate has always known that's where I keep it. Last Saturday, I came home after my shift and went to grab my permit to put it in my car for the night. But it wasn't there. I looked everywhere, checked my cars, checked my room, couldn't find it anywhere. So I asked my roommate if she'd seen it, and she got this weird look on her face. Turns out, her friend had come over earlier that day and was complaining about how expensive parking was going to be for her night out downtown. So my roommate, without asking me or even thinking about it, just gave my friend my parking permit to use. She handed over my permit like it was hers to give away. I was honestly shocked. I told her she needed to text her friend immediately and get my permit back, but she said her friend was already downtown and probably wouldn't see the message until late. She acted like I was being unreasonable for wanting my own permit back on a Saturday night. The worst part was her attitude about the whole thing. She kept saying it wasn't a big deal and that I could just park on the street for one night. But street parking in our area is really limited and not very safe, plus I'd have to move my car early in the morning because of street cleaning. She basically wanted me to deal with all this inconvenience because she made a decision about my property without consulting me. When her friend finally brought the permit back the next morning, my roommate acted like I should be grateful and like the whole thing was no big deal. She said I was being selfish for not wanting to help out her friend, and that it was just one night. But that's not the point at all. The point is that it's my permit, and she had no right to give it away without asking me first. What if I had needed it that night? What if my car had gotten towed because of her decision? I would have been the one paying the towing fees, not her. Now there's this tension between us because she thinks I'm being petty, but I think she completely violated my trust and overstepped major boundaries. Am I really being unreasonable here, or was what she did completely out of line? Story 4. I asked my sister not to vape around my kitten and she's furious. So I asked my girlfriend not to vape around my new kitten, and she's acting like I'm being completely unreasonable about it. This is really causing problems between us. My girlfriend has been vaping for almost a decade, basically since I've known her. I've never had an issue with it before because it was just the two of us, and honestly I didn't care if she wanted to vape in the house. It's my house, she lives here too, and I figured what's the harm, right? But about a month ago, I got this adorable little kitten, and everything changed. About a week after bringing her home, it suddenly occurred to me that the vaping might not be safe for such a tiny animal. So I started doing some research, and what I found really worried me. Apparently kittens can suffer serious harm from inhaling any kind of vapor, but what really scared me was learning about the residue that gets left behind on surfaces. The chemicals from vaping can settle on furniture, floors, and basically everywhere the kitten walks and plays. And you know how cats are always grooming themselves, licking their paws and fur. So she's potentially ingesting these harmful chemicals just by being a normal cat. When I tried to explain this to my girlfriend, she immediately got defensive. She said I was being paranoid and that people vape around pets all the time without problems. But I showed her the research I'd found, and it's pretty clear that the chemicals in vape juice can be toxic to small animals. We're talking about a tiny kitten here, not a full-grown cat or dog. Her respiratory system is still developing, and she's so much more vulnerable to these kinds of toxins. I suggested that maybe she could just vape outside or in the garage, at least until the kitten gets bigger and her system is more mature. I thought that was a pretty reasonable compromise. But my girlfriend acted like I was asking her to quit entirely or something. She kept saying it was inconvenient and that I was choosing the cat over her comfort. That really hurt because it's not about choosing sides at all. I'm just trying to protect a helpless animal that depends on me. She also pointed out that it's winter and cold outside, which I get, but we have a heated garage that she could use temporarily. It's not like I'm asking her to stand in a snowbank to vape. The thing that really bothers me is that she won't even consider it. She's not willing to make any adjustment to her routine, even temporarily, to protect the kitten's health. And when I try to bring up the research about how harmful it can be, she just dismisses it and says I'm overreacting. I love my girlfriend, but I also have a responsibility to this kitten that I chose to adopt. I'm not trying to control her or make her quit vaping, I'm just asking for a small accommodation to keep my pet safe. Is it really that unreasonable to ask someone not to vape around a baby animal, or am I actually being paranoid about this whole thing? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.